Welcome back, Keepers of the Flame. Okay, so let's do a reading on the delivery and the concept of using our words more consciously. And I'm trying to feel out what deck. James, I love you, but let's go the Guardians of the Night. This one. This isn't it. Ooh, Queen of Cups upside down. So there's our first clue. We had that yesterday. So let's see. Whoa, Six of Pentacles, equal give and take. Okay, so communication, equal give and take. So is there an imbalance when we're communicating? When we're saying the words, is there too much resistance from our side or too much giving from our side versus what we get back? And I didn't do the whole flip the camera down thing, but that's okay. I gotta shuffle the cards, so. Okay. So the Two of Swords in the reverse. Ooh, unclear communication. So, yeah. Ooh, Four of Pentacles in reverse. Dumping those resources unknowingly. Not being able to even see the path forward because we're confused about our communication as a whole. And I think we've touched on that a little bit before, where, you know, understanding is standing under. I don't know how that's going to be good for any sort of relationship. So comprehension is more of a better-ish word. Compassionate curiosity for communication. Curiosity in general. Sometimes people really get confused with that compassion thing. If you're left out of the compassion, it's not compassion. People like to leave themselves out of scenarios all the time. When it comes to compassion, they're like, oh, I have to think, feel, and whatever else for the other person. If that's not being reciprocated, what are you even doing? Like, so when we feed that energy, we enable that energy. So, and that makes it really difficult to proceed in any meaningful, authentic connection, communication that has, okay, the Queen of Swords. Oh, that was on the cover. So that's at the bottom of the deck. That's the basis. So, you know, and it's got that crown there. So using your crown chakra, using that third eye and that crown to carry that message forward. Even all the way through to the subconscious, there's the moon in the background. Through to the subconscious, because that's what's controlling us, is the subconscious. That's why we do shadow work, is to make the subconscious, the unconscious, conscious. That's the whole idea behind shadow work, so we can look at the opposite sides of ourselves and integrate the systems that have been, you know, creating that polarity and that, you know, cognitive dissonance of, no, this works. No, this actually works. No, this works. No, that works. No, blah, 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 blah. When in actuality, neither choice works. And that's the Two of Swords in the reverse right now. Neither way works. And we know that, but we are in the fog as to how to move forward. Five of Pentacles. Not being left out in the cold. Not being... this feels like not self-abandoning. So you got the Four of Pentacles in the reverse and the Five of Pentacles in reverse. Really taking into account what is a resource and what isn't, and how it functions in our everyday life. And probably coming to the conclusion that how we communicate is a form of resource. That's how we let the people in our environment know what's going on with us, give them information, receive information, all these different modalities of communication, and how they can be misrepresented, misconstrued, misinterpreted. So that way, when you're trying to have a conversation with somebody, they might be on a total perception disconnect from you. So they're not going to hear what you're saying. They're going to hear through their lens of, they're going to hear through their subconscious programming. That's what I'm getting. This feels like subconscious programming, so the communication is lost. It's like in a fog. Yeah, Neptune and Pisces, station direct. What? Okay. So you've got the 4 and the 5 reverse. So the home and travel are in reverse right now. So maybe you're contemplating those two particular things. I'm going off the numbers right now. So when the Pentacles refers to your home, the Pentacles then refers to travel. So these two things might be coming into a deep focus for you. You've got the little caterpillar there at the bottom. Remember I talked about like quite a few times, like we're in a little chrysalis right now as far as the cosmos is concerned. Little chrysalis. Everything's kind of up in the air. All those big collective planets that kind of have more pull over generations rather than interpersonal planets, which can, make huge movements when it comes to how society conducts itself, how we shift into a different modality of existing in the world. I mean, like right now is a huge powerhouse for that, because Neptune and Saturn are both going into Aries, which is that's Aries is the ram, so that rules the head. So you're headed into, and that also is that hippocampus, amygdala, little, like, those horns. If you look at the brain, there's that hippocampus stem where the memories are stored coming forward. So we're going to come into a grander time of remembering, but also butting heads, probably. But Aries is that heat. It's heat. It's not a hammer. It's not a smashing your face into something, even though that's, the ram. Aries is heat that's required for that seed to open. And that seed will not open unless everything in the environment is perfect for its flourishment. And if it is forced to open through heat and it doesn't have the right environment, it's not going to grow very long or whatever. So make sure your environment's really cozy, comfortable, coherent, heart coherent. And remember, the heart sends up 80% of the information. And so if your seed is about to break open, maybe making sure those little seedlings have the right environment to flourish and grow. Aries also ruled by Mars, which is iron, the iron in your blood. So make sure your iron levels are checked. I have a pile of cards waiting here, but they're telling me you need to go through this all the way. Like, we're getting deep! Okay. So blood. Oxygen in blood. They have that hydro water now. I don't know. I haven't tried it. I've heard several different people talk about it. I don't know. Oxygen seems to be a difficult process on the planet right now, and I can't tell if that's because Pluto's in Aquarius right now, or where the hell that's coming from. I mean, it could be the systematic, poisoning of the air. It does a lot to kind of impede healing, and a lot of reasons why breath work is really taking off right now is because we do need to be retaught how to breathe, and that helps remembering. That helps the system. I mean, breathing is like, if you're short chest breaths only, you are in a state of panic, period, the end. You're in the state of panic, on the verge of having a fight, flight, freeze, or fawn kind of thing. So oxygenating, whatever the heck that word is, the blood. I want to say Kali sulfur, but I don't think that's it. Aries. Kali phosphate. I'm gonna look it up. La 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 la. Okay. This is interesting. In ancient lore, Aries was known as the Lamb of Gad, G-A-D, or God, which represents the head or brain. The brain controls and directs the body and the mind of man. The brain itself, however, is a receiver. There's the amygdala connected to the hippocampus, operated upon by celestial influences or angles or angels, and must operate according to the direct force or intelligence of its source power. Man has been deficient in understanding because his brain receiver did not vibrate to certain subtle influences. The dynamic cells in the gray matter of the nerves were not finely attuned and did not respond, hence sin, or falling short of understanding. What did we just say about that word? Okay, so from the teachings of the chemistry of life, we find that the basis of the brain or nerve fluid is a certain mineral salt known as potassium phosphate or Kali phosphate. A deficiency in this brain constitute means sin or falling short of judgment or proper comprehension. With the advent of Aries, Lord, Gad, or planet, cell salts are rapidly coming to the fore as the basis of all healing. Kali phosphate is the greatest healing agent known to man because it is the chemical base of material expressions and understanding, comprehension. The cell salts of the human organism are now being prepared for use, while poisonous drugs are being discarded everywhere. Kali phosphate is the special birth salt for those born between March 21st and April 19th. These people are brain workers, earnest, executive, and determined. Thus do they rapidly use up the brain vitalizers. The Aries gems are amethyst and diamond. The astral colors are white and rose pink. In Bible, alchemy, Aries represents Gad, the seventh son of Jacob, and means armed and prepared. Thus it is said, when the trouble or danger, keep your head. In the symbolism of the New Testament, Aries corresponds with the disciple Thomas. Aries people are natural doubters until they figure a thing out for themselves. All right, well, there's the source right there, if you can. George. Okay, so that was, I was like, it's Callie something. Callie, how the hell did we get here? So somehow, like, because this looks like a blood moon. That's why I'm like, that's a blood moon. We're dealing with the subconscious, internal, blood moon, internal. So something about that. All right. Yay, rabbit holes. Okay. There's your blood moon again. I apologize for the trigger. It was not my intent. Cheese and rice, the 5 of Wands. Oh, I pissed you off real good, didn't I? Oh, and the 10 of Pentacles. Okay, well, at least it's coming out good. So something that's triggering. Okay. Let's reframe. So perspective is key here. You've got the 4 and the 5 of Pentacles in reverse, which is enough to put everybody on pissy mode. So you're obviously on pissy mode with the Queen of Cups in reverse. Your emotions are whatever, and you're for whatever reason here. Do you see this? They're both going away from the blood moon. One's in the air and one's in the water. So bringing that intellect into the heart space, into that deep emotional trench. And I love me some killer whales. We've got a crab here. Cancer could be significant. Okay. So again, that blood thing, and then the 5 of Wands. So there's your Aries heat. But in this card, poor little feller had her dam done broken. So guys, look at his face. Okay, he's super sweet and adorable, but his dam just broke and he's a piss cookie. Okay, so like dismay. Jingle, 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 jingle. I'm going to let you look at this and just kind of decide what you want to do with it. See that right there? Wow. How are you not coming into focus? Does that help? Get me out of the way? You see it? Okay, I'm going to let you figure that out. Some of this looks like horns and antlers, though. So again, like maybe a moose or something. Again, back to that hippocampus having that memory holder thing where all that information is stored and transmitted, transmuted, transferred. Cerebrum, spinal cord, sensory nerves, face to lower jaw. And you got the 10 of Pentacles. So you got the 4 and the 5 here, and then you're getting some pentacle along the way. Okay, so a little more insight on the Triggerama. Oh, the King of Cups in reverse. Okay. And then you've got the 9 of Cups. But you're... Okay. Well, there's that energy. So there's your crown again. Well, there's crown and... Okay. So you've got 3 crowns here, 1 in the upright and 2 in the reverse. So in your emotional waters, both your feminine and masculine aspects are just not coming together, but you're keeping your cool. And your disco penguin, or your disco chicken, disco chicken is fulfilling though. And you've got to appreciate those 2 cups between the moon that looks kind of orangey red up there. So it might have something to do. This feels like now we're doing really deep inner emotional work here because the dam broke and it's flooding. And you're like, what the hell am I going to do with this? And you're like, alchemize it. So you're... Well, the High Priestess in reverse, the Hermit in reverse, and the 9 of Wands. That's the subconscious undercurrent. Okay. So when we lose contact with the heart coherence and then like the brain matter kind of gets froggy. Okay, sorry. I had to do it. Okay. No shooting the messenger. Okay. Hang on. Okay. So I had I was doing, the meditation thing previous in the year. I can't remember exactly when. But I was I do have a intimate relationship with orcas. They just seem to kind of come through for me, and I was in the process of like meditating, and they came through, and I was just sitting there being grateful for the experience. And then in my meditation, my heart just like a split open, I guess you want to call it. And the light was so blinding, I couldn't see anything. And I was, obviously a little taken aback that my heart space had completely just busted open. And so I was like, okay, I've got this red string here. I'm going to stitch it back up. And like, I'm trying to do this almost blind. So I'm not doing it very good. So I'm trying to like hold my heart and stitch it up. And this is happening in a like meditation. And I'm willingly going through this. And then I got it stitched up. No sooner did I put the thread and needle down, did it bust back open again. And at this time, my eyes had kind of adjusted to the blindness that the light was causing me. So I was able to do it more calmly, more proficiently, with more precision the second time around. So I was like, okay, that should hold. I'm good. And so I set the needle down and it broke open again. And then I started to panic. And I just looked at this like, I don't know, a pod of orcas, and I said, what the hell am I going to do with this? And they said, leave it. You're going to need it for where you're going. I'm like, you want me to leave it open? And they're like, yes. And I was like, okay. That's what this feels like. That's what this feels like. Your heart is somehow splitting open here, and maybe it's a lot of it dismaying. I mean, that was not a comfortable feeling. Obviously, you're like, Miss Broke, guys. But that's what's going to lead you to your 9 of Cups and your 10 of Pentacles, is an open heart. And a willingness to, this doesn't feel so much as like a Pentacle thing. It feels like a remembrance of your own inheritance. Not necessarily, it doesn't have to be monetary, but it has something to do with the legacy you were left and to be carried on. Whew. And it feels like it's got you in some sort of effed up manner here, and you do not appreciate it. You don't like it. Okay, let's get more into that. Why don't you like it? Page of Pentacles. Oh, okay. And the Page of Swords. Okay. So you feel like, this just isn't... Ooh. King of Swords. There's your partner in the upright. Okay. The Ace of Wands. Desire. Oh, but the Temperance is in reverse. Okay. So here's the conundrum that I'm going to throw myself over a cliff over. So 6 of Cups in the reverse. Knight of Pentacles in reverse. And the 6 of Swords in reverse. Okay, whatever legacy this is, it's emotionally taxing. Emotionally taxing. And so what's going to happen is you're going to put yourself into a tizzy over it. Now, I'm not here to tell you one way or the other that, you know, you've got a Page of Pentacles and a Page of Swords here. Swords. So when we have this conundrum between, like, do I go with the mental? Do I go with the resourceful route? And again, your cups are both in the reversed here. As the Scorpio stellium, I'm telling you that's not a good place to be. So, but your 9 of Cups is in the upright. So something about this is fulfilling. Something about this offer is fulfilling. But for whatever reason here, it's throwing your masculine, feminine nature off in the heart space, but putting it upright in the mental space. Are you being too mental about this? You got the Ace of Wands here, which is where your desire is, but the Temperance then follows it in reverse. Holy juggling all the things. Okay. You've got your 1-1 from this whole, okay, when I did witness the dam break and all the cups, whatever, and I got pissy, and emotionally triggered by this whatever the heck it is, right? Ta-da-da-da-da-da-da. Reversage. Something came through, though, for that. Something came through. And so you've got a wand here. And then she's, notice her spiders there. And these lilies at the bottom are typical funeral flower. So something here has to be sifted through. And I think you'd be better served if you got out of the Temperance, like, and into this. King and Queen. Swords. Minus the fact those look like poppies. Careful for your overindulgence, because sometimes when the water is in reverse, we have a tendency to be like, well, I know how to take care of that. Poppies are not, they're not terrible, but don't overindulge. Get yourself in the right. Okay. We're going to do, so one more card for this Temperance. Fine, 8 more cards. Ooh. The 5 of Cups in reverse. The 6 of Pentacles in reverse, and the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. So this Temperance card that kind of connected to the Ace of Wands here, which again has those lilies at the bottom that correlate to death in my brain. Something of emotional value has been lost here, and it has to do with an equal give and take and an opportunity. Something is upsetting you emotionally that has to do possibly with energetic exchange, possibilities of new growth and expansion in a particular area you were looking at. Woofta! Woofta, woofta. Okay. But at the same time, your legacy is okay-ish over here. You've got your 9 of Pentacles. Okay, let's just get a... We're going to get a... We're going to get a seed and sickle. Okay, alrighty then. Okay, so we've got Feverfew. Ooh, Magnolia. And Moonwort. Get it. Feverfew. Something unwanted is coming your way, and you'd be best advised to avoid it. The bitterness of Feverfew is enough to keep rats and other pests from the door, so learn its defenses. Don't surrender your progress for the sake of being nice. Be ready to protect yourself and everything that you've worked for. Some things are worth the fight. Ooh, okay. I'm not going to say any more on that. That's... Okay. When magnolias bloom, the flowers come out long before the leaves do. This miraculous flowering gives them an advantage over other plants, which are still busy putting out their first few leaves. But it's only possible as a result of careful preparation. The season before that allows them to beat the trend. If you want to be one step ahead of others, it may not be possible immediately. But now is a good time to prepare for the next season and make sure that you have everything you need to be the first to bloom. Woo. Magnolias are like 350 million years old. Great little plant medicine. Okay, 15. All right. Moonwort. We just had a discussion about that. A commonly cited magical property of the moonwort fern is the power to pierce iron. There is said to be the hill in Devon in the UK so covered in moonwort that 30 freshly shod horses belonging to the Earl of Essex once lost their horseshoes whilst being ridden across it. Like moonwort, you can find inside of you the power to conquer any hurdle that stands in your way. You may feel small and easily trampled, but every barrier that stops you from moving forward has its weak point. Embrace your own inner strength and find it. I feel like I don't need to add anything to that. Okay. There it be. So, yeah. Yeah, go where the cups are filled all the way. If it's bringing you emotional upset, that's going to cause dis-ease in the body. That's not a good plan. Okay? So, even though you might not like this legacy that's over here, it's still putting you in a pretty decent state. Whereas the opportunity that looks good, sounds good, intellectually, okay? Do what you will with this. Keep your flame. Love you, bye.